And now, weighing in out of the blue corner, Josh the Punk Thompson. 100%. And on the other mic, he weighs in from the red corner, Big John McCarthy.
Well, yes, he is Josh the Punk Thompson. Last time we were on this, he was Josh the Puke Thompson because he was throwing up and shitting himself. But he's looking a little bit better, a little more color back in the face. How you feeling, my man?
Not much has really changed, though. I'm still trying to hold it all in, buddy. So not much has changed. It's been a 2-day thing, so I don't know. It's fucking painful now. Dave had it too a little while back, and I had no sympathy
You
for
can't
him,
blame
so.
this on the pork, baby. This is not pork.
I don't know what it is.
This is pestilence.
I also think it's a combination of, like, right now my allergies are really bad, and so, like, anytime I get coughing, it almost makes me gag, and so it just that gag reflex and not feeling well is not a great combination.
No, it is not.
No, but hey, we are gonna give you guys a couple breakdowns and take a couple fan questions, and there's a breakdown.
No big fights this week.
No,
so we can really talk about things that are going to come up, and a little bit of what in the past of what some people were talking about and saying, things that are going on in the world of MMA. You know what's wrong with history, Josh? You know, I'm bringing this up. You know what's wrong with history?
Is that we tend to repeat it?
No, we don't learn from it. First off,
yeah.
But the biggest problem is it's all bullshit because it's always the person that wins that gets to write the history. It doesn't matter if what they're saying is fucking bullshit. It doesn't matter of what the truth is. It's, are you the one that in the end wins the whole thing? So you get to write the history because it's really his story, or it's her story, but we don't talk about her story.
John, where are you going with this? With this?
Someone was asking me questions about the UFC and things that are happening. I said, look, they're going to write things the way they want people to put it out, because he was asking me about, and it was Jim Brown, and we talked about Jim Brown on the last show, and he was saying, he says, Dana didn't, the UFC did a thing, but Dana really, acted like Jim Brown, didn't do anything for the UFC. I said, well, because he didn't do anything for the UFC when Dana was there. I said, because Jim Brown was there long before Dana was there. Dana wasn't there for 7 years. Then Dana came in and said, and really the problem is everything that Dana looks at is from the point when Zuffa bought the UFC. That is the history of the UFC. Nothing before it means anything, even though if those people didn't do their job and do the things that helped build it, he would never have had anything.
Yeah,
it's kind of weird.
Yeah, I mean, I get it, I understand, but Dana, he used to manage Tito and Chuck, and he would.
Yeah, that was late going in 1999.
Yeah, I get it. I know, I get it, but he doesn't look at the past of like what the actual. He didn't care that much about it in the early days. Sure, he's given some press. He didn't like it in the early days.
No.
Why is that?
Well, because he was a boxing guy, and everyone that was a boxing. No, I'm being honest. He was a boxing guy, and everybody in the boxing world was, oh, that's crap, But it was taking pay-per-view away from him.
He was a cardio kickboxing guy. Let's get it straight. There's a difference.
He was trying to manage boxers too.
Yeah, interesting. Yeah. I can't see him as a manager. I don't know. Maybe it's just me.
Honestly, I think he'd be a good manager.
Think so?
Well, if there's one thing it's the one thing that I always was impressed with Dana. He was a worker. Now I don't know how he is now because I'm not around him. But back in the early day when, Zuffa had an office, it was, a building that the Fertittas owned, and it had just, one floor, and there was like 4 people working for Zuffa. He was out, always running around, jumping on Southwest flights to go somewhere, to meet with someone, going to Blockbuster to try to get them to put the tapes in the front and stuff. He was doing that. And you look and go, he was a worker. He was busting his ass trying to do anything he could to try to get people to get more engaged and put videos out front, things like that. You know, he was a worker, so I'll give him that. I think that, you know, as a manager, you know,
yeah. I mean, if you think about it, right? If he was with Chuck and Tito, and at the time they were two of the top guys in the organization, so he did his part on trying to make them look good, and you know, and create a not a stigma, but a persona of them. You know, the one with the mohawk with the tattoo on the head, and you got Tito with the shaved head, but it was dyed and shaved, and you know, the Huntington Beach bad boy, the Iceman, like it was all. I mean, they did a good job. He did a good job. So maybe he would have made a great manager. Yeah. I just look at him now as a businessman, so I don't see that portion of him. The funny
part is, as soon as he became the president of the UFC, he hated managers. He fucking hated all of them. One of the best ones was, you know, Monty. You remember Monty Cox?
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah.
Okay. And Dana was right about this, because I didn't think about it at the time, you know, because Monty was managing a ton of guys, you know, and all of Monty's, you know, deals was a handshake. He didn't have you sign a contract. He would shake your hand. Okay. And this is what, you know, what's that?
Brave man.
Well, he lost a lot of people. He lost a lot of people off of that. But, you know, at one point you got to figure he had, in the UFC, he had Miletich as a champion, and then Miletich loses it to Carlos Newton, and Matt Hughes wins it. Jens Pulver was the champion. He had Rich Franklin. He had Sean Shirk. He had Tim Sylvia. He had at one point a champion in almost every weight class. Mm-hmm. And Dana figured out, he goes, hey, this guy's got too much power. Mm-hmm. He could actually hurt my show. He could actually, if I put a couple of his, because I want championship fights, he could pull his fighters. He could control things. He hated Monty. And the best thing to see was in the back, in the locker rooms. And we're talking back then, you know, this was like when they were at the MGM Grand Arena or the Mandalay Bay. Mm-hmm. We're in the back, and you know, Monty would always be in the back with his fighters. And so I would be walking around, you know, talking, doing my, you know, rule stuff with the different fighters and going in and out of different locker rooms. And it was always Dana, you know, Monty knew that Dana hated him. You know, and so Dana would walk in the room, and Monty would be the first one to jump up, go over to Dana and stick his hand out. How you doing today, Dana? And Dana was like stuck. He's in that like, right. And he'd look at him and he'd put his hand out. And he goes, how you doing? Right. And he would try to get past him, and he would do it every time. And finally it got to the point, Dana would just look at him and just walk past him. I was like, Monty, you're just doing it. He goes, I do it just to fuck with him.
Yeah. It can only work if like there can only be an issue if both sides are acceptance of that. And if one side just like, fuck it, just going to shake your hand and not have a problem with it, and the other side's like, screw you, it just bugs them even more that you were able to do that. I love that. That's the greatest thing. There was a couple fight announcements. We are going to talk one. We talked about this a little bit, but we're going to actually get a little bit more in depth on this. Is the Dustin Poirier Justin Gaethje rematch, the number 2. John's
just gone on this whole tangent with Dana White. Should we just start with one of the topics in the agenda is the Dana White and Francis thing from the weekend.
Let's go.
Should we just hop to that first?
Let's talk about Dana then.
Since John's hot on Dana right now. John's
I'm not hot on him. Dude, I was telling a funny story because he used to just walk right by as Monty would put his hand in.
Dana's not John's type.
Well, speaking of other things that gets Dana White mad, somebody at the post-fight presser had brought up the Francis Ngannou signing with PFL thing and said, you know, what do you think of it? And you know, sometimes where you just expect Dana to say, I don't give a fuck, whatever. He ended up going on for a long freaking time about it.
Try not to stutter.
So Dana White was asked about it. Here was the first time he's reacted to this news that Francis signed with PFL. He said, based on what I know about the deal, which is not much, it makes no sense to me. You're going to pay a guy for not to not fight for a year, and it's already been like 14 months. He's fought 3 times in the last 3 years. It's just not what we do here. It's not what we do. And the day that we released him, I knew exactly what was going to happen. Francis wants to take 0 risks, doesn't want to take any chances, and he obviously didn't want to take a chance with John Jones. And after we saw what happened with Ciryl Gane, I don't blame him. I think the outcome would have been exactly the same, and I'm sure most of you do too, and I'm sure Francis does. And then he goes on to say, PFL is going to pay this guy to train for a boxing match that may not even happen and they might not even be involved in. How does that make any sense? It doesn't make sense to me. Anthony Joshua called it a gimmick fight this week. When asked about that fight, he's like, I'm focused on fighting the best guys in the world. I'm not interested in a gimmick fight right now. And that's one of the big problems with the boxing right now, is all these gimmicky type of fights, and it's just not what we do here. It's not what I do. Francis could have done...
Hold it, stop. Did he say it's not what I do?
Well,
was there not a Conor McGregor versus Floyd Mayweather?
No, this
he brings it up here.
That he was part of?
So Francis could have done a deal here. Hunter Campbell threw the kitchen sink at that guy. Hunter went to more dinners with Francis and did everything in his power to try to get this fight done. Francis just thinks he's in a position where he's got some Conor McGregor versus Floyd Mayweather fight in his hands, which he does not. That fight was a once-in-a-lifetime type of deal, a fight that I wasn't very interested in, but at the end of the day, it became so big, the right guys, the right time, the right place, the fans wanted it, so we did it, and we got it done. MMA guys versus boxers doesn't make any sense to me, but I know that he thinks there's all this money in it. I disagree. And then what they're doing makes no sense to me. Their business strategy, I'm hearing that they're raising money right now, 283 million, 300 million, I don't know what the number is, from the Middle East, and I've done a lot of business in the Middle East. Those guys are sharp. Who in the hell would give them 280 million? Because I'm hearing they're buying Bellator. So you're an organization that's burning cash, have no ratings, and selling no tickets, and you're going to raise 280 million to buy a company that's burning cash, sells no tickets, and does no ratings. It sounds like absolutely fucking genius to me. I know how the story ends. I get what Francis is doing. I wish the PFL all the best in the world. I wish him all the luck in the world. It's just not what we do here. Francis responds.
Francis came out and replied. Yeah, Francis had a response also.
So Francis goes on Twitter. What is your problem with me? Number 1, I completed my contract, was a free agent, and chose to walk away. You did not release me. 2, I hate...
Truth. Hold on. Stop. This is what I was talking about. There's the truth. Mm-hmm. He played out his contract. He fought it out. He decided to take the road of free agency. And all we hear from Dana is, I released him. No, you did not.
Yeah. They did the same thing with me. They didn't release me. I got a better offer.
I mean,
I was never released.
Okay, but Josh, what do you think someone is trying to do with just the words, we released him?
Just trying to say that he didn't cut it.
We got rid of you.
Fired him.
We got rid of you.
Yeah.
You didn't get rid of him.
Yeah.
He walked away.
Look, I've had this conversation I don't know how many times. Like I had it with Joe Silva. He's like, yeah, the same thing he said about me. Yeah, we released Josh Thompson. I'm like, no, you didn't release me. I came back with a better contract, and you guys didn't want to match. That's not releasing me. That's just realizing that I was going to get paid a lot more than you guys are willing to pay. So I left. And I don't have a problem with that. I do the wording. That's a promoter. They're doing what's best for their company.
Again, what's the truth? He's right. He didn't get released. He walked away. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
All right. Number 2, I hate taking risks. That's why I defended my title to fulfill my contract with no ACL or MCL. Number 3, the reason I fought 3 times in 3 years is because you wanted to control my deal and sign a new one and freeze me out. I owe these guys 3 fights a year. Isn't that what you say? What happened? I always asked for and never said no to any fight in the 3 years. I'm finally getting paid and respected, and I have a deal, and it's fair and equal for all parties. Why are you so against me being free and happy? If you ever really want that John Jones fight to happen, reach out to Pete Murray, whenever, wherever. And then he replies to a clip of Dana White and says, who really is scared? John, me, or you? Make your mind up.
Yeah. He brought up a good point. Look, we've talked about what the UFC does, and it's brilliant on their part in terms of a promoter. Is they know that you're coming up, they know that you're not happy, or that you're somebody that potentially will leave when it comes up. So they will drag your contracts out. I'll just get you one fight a year. And Dana says this consistently. They are kind of obligated to do the 3 fights a year. But what they do is they'll offer you something knowing that you can't accommodate that. So like, hey, someone will tell them, they know that you're in Hawaii, or they know that you're on vacation, whatever it is. And they'll call and say, hey, we want you to fight so-and-so in like 3 weeks. Well, if you turn the fight down, that extends your contract like 3 months or 4 months. It extends it for the period of time that you say that you can't fight. So that's how they kind of get around with that. And they can kind of, now I'm going to offer you a fight for another 4 or 5 months or 3 or 4 months. So that extends your contract that amount of time. It's brilliant on their part. It's to kind of, what it does is if fighters are not good with their money, they're fucked. They're screwed. Like they really continue to sign these contracts because they want to get paid more, but they don't want to be drowned out with downtime. Fighters don't get paid unless they fight. And this is what the UFC does. Almost all the promotions do this. They don't do it as nasty as the UFC does. They really grind it out. I mean, my last fight too with Tony, I think they knew that I was going to leave. They waited, almost the whole year. They're like, yeah, no, you can wait. And they kept sending me a new contract. Every time it was a new contract. Hey, sign this before you fight Tony. Sign this. And I was like, no, I'm going to check it out. See what's going on, over at Bellator. See what's going on over at One. See all the other organizations and exactly what's happening. It was one of the best decisions I ever made, man. You've got to fight out your contract. See what you're really worth. Somebody out there is willing to pay you. And Francis got everything that he wanted. I do agree a little bit with Dana. They are paying him to sit on the bench, John, for a year. And you're paying him to train to fight a boxer. Let me ask you this, though.
What are they paying him? He gets paid for what?
No, he got a signing bonus.
Okay.
He got a signing bonus.
Hold on.
I don't know how much. I just heard he got a signing bonus.
I'm just going to ask you real quick. So when you signed with Bellator, did you get a signing bonus?
Did I what? Yes, I did. Yes.
Oh, how common is a signing bonus when you move over to a new promotion?
It's pretty common.
Pretty goddamn
Depending
standard.
on who you are. It's pretty standard, pretty common.
Pretty standard.
Yeah.
If you are someone that is wanted, it's a norm.
Mm-hmm.
So to sit there and say they're paying him to train for boxing, no, they're not.
Okay.
They decided to sign him, and he got a signing bonus.
Okay, let me get to my endpoint, okay? Before I was rudely interrupted.
Okay, go ahead.
No, what I'm saying is he got his signing bonus. Great. Okay.
Okay, wait, right. No, I'm just kidding.
I'm happy for him.
Yeah.
But John, it says in his contract, apparently, that's what I was told. It was said in his contract, he's able to have 2 boxing matches before he makes his debut in the PFL.
That I don't believe is smart.
Okay, exactly. Even just one. The guy that is the UFC champion goes and gets knocked out in boxing or gets beat, decisively. Now, whatever I had gained in terms of bringing him over from the UFC into my promotion, I've kind of lost them a little bit. I've started to lose some of the casual fans that were following him and his story and what's going on with Dana. I'm kind of losing that. Now I just paid all this money for a fighter who was the UFC champion. And now his values just dropped because he got knocked out or he got beat in boxing.
I agree with you, and I agree with Dana when he says, I don't like this. If I was Dana in his position, I wouldn't like it either. I don't want any of my fighters trying to step into a boxing ring and fight somebody who is a boxer under their rules, because the likelihood is the boxer is going to win. I don't blame Dana at all for not liking it. I don't blame the UFC as a company, Hunter Campbell, all those dinners that Dana's talking about. Yes, I know that Hunter had a lot of meetings and dinners with Francis, but the reason why was never money. The reason why was Francis wanted a contract where he could go and box. He wanted that contract with the UFC. The UFC did not want to give him that in the contract. And that's, I don't blame them for that. I actually think the same thing as you. You're my heavyweight champion. I can't have you going and boxing somebody in their sport, and the chance of you losing, in my opinion, is pretty high That's not going to do anything for me as a promoter. In fact, it's going to damage the value. I don't blame them, but that's why he didn't sign with the UFC. It was as simple as, here's a guy that says, I want to go do something. His company that he is fighting with says, we're not going to allow you to do that. That's why he did everything, going through all these motions and everything to get out of the contract. That's why he did it, because he had his mind set on something that he wanted to do. I don't blame them for not liking it, but to sit there and then to twist the truth, because that's really what's happening. You're twisting things. You're trying to say that he's afraid. He doesn't want to fight competition. If he didn't want to fight competition, he wouldn't be trying to get a fucking goddamn boxing match with either Anthony Joshua, Deontay Wilder, or Tyson Fury. Am I right?
No, you are right. You are right in that scenario. But look, if I was to go back in history, every time a fighter left the UFC, it's rinse, wash, repeat. It's the same storyline.
Sure.
We released them. They didn't want to take chances. They were afraid to fight the best. It's the same thing. You hear it all the time. He's just doing his job as a promoter, though. And no matter how filthy dirty we think it is.
And I agree.
It's his job to
he's
promote
doing his job as a promoter. But how stupid is the goddamn MMA media when you're asking him about these things?
They're
how
not
stupid,
John.
They're
just chicken shit to ask.
Jesus,
they're chicken
Christ.
Shit to press on him. They won't get credentials next time. And I love it when these media guys, okay, it was when they say, "Oh, that doesn't happen anymore." You guys are fucking liars. It's so funny because I have friends that work in this industry all throughout managements, to people that work for the UFC, the people that coaches, all these things. And it's hilarious to see the media, how they tiptoe around Dana White and the UFC and everyone, whether it's Hunter, whether it's Mick, whether whoever, they tiptoe around it. It's like a big ass kissing event. And it's true. It's every single time. Some of the fighters, they get disgusted. Like, man, my fucking manager, when I see him the way he is around Dana or Mick or anybody else, they're like, man, it's a fucking ass. They're just chasing him around. And like a total ass kissing event. And they're like, it disgusts me to see a grown man, a manager be that way. And it's true. It's you can see it when you go to these events. You see how they are, because they all want to carry favor with Dana or the matchmakers or whoever, Sean Shelby, whoever. But I still don't get mad at Dana for just doing what he's supposed to be doing. He's promoting his organization.
His job is to make his organization number one in everyone's mind. The only reason someone would leave here is they're tired of fighting the very best and they want an easy career. They want easy wins. I don't blame him either. But the fact that you have the MMA media that doesn't sit there and go, okay, let's be honest about this. Yeah. There's a whole lot of good fighters out there in a lot of different promotions. No one is getting an easy fight, by stepping away from the UFC. Yeah. They have a tough fight in the UFC, and they're going to have a tough fight in any other promotion they go to, especially for the money that the PFL is going to be paying Francis and his opponent.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a lot. That's a big risk to allow him to go into boxing. I signed you to fight MMA. I signed you and paid you all this money because of what you've done in MMA. Now you go and you get knocked out or you get beat decisively in a boxing match. I mean, there is an upside. He could win. Could win by knockout.
He could.
And if that was to happen, it would just increase his aura about him, right?
That's right.
But the chances.
You're just looking at the odds.
And I think I'm looking at the odds. I'm like, I've sparred with some of the best boxers in the world, and it wasn't pretty. It definitely wasn't pretty. No. It was not fun. And it's just different when you're in there with them. You can spar with MMA guys all day long, but it's not the same when you're sparring with someone that can box.
That's right.
And no matter how much, if I'm that promotion and I've invested all this money into Francis and he goes and he loses, what's my return on my investment after that? Those are things that you have to think about. Now, in terms of, they're raising all this capital to try and buy Bellator, and Dana's talking about, they're not selling any tickets. Maybe the PFL isn't, but Paris is sold out at 12,000 people. And I know we're not talking the world's biggest arenas, But, you know, we've got a big walk down stage and everything like that. So that cuts off about 3,000 seats, which we should have gotten rid of.
Yep.
Chicago's already sold out, and they're talking about potentially like trying to open up more seats if they can, maybe remove some of the panels from the walkout so they have more seats to sell. That's
but
been sold
Dana
out for
White
over a week.
said that they don't sell tickets.
Well, you know what's funny though, John, and I'm not just saying this as a homer to Bellator. We have noticed since the CBS show how much there has been an uptick in fans coming to the actual arena. Now, I don't know if it's because it's the end of COVID now. People are kind of realizing, hey, it's fine to be out in large groups in an arena that has a dome or whatever, and it's like all indoors with that many people. But I've got to be honest, man. Like, I know Pechanga is a very small venue, sold out. You've got Paris, sold out. That was about 12,000. Chicago, sold out. I think that's about 13,000, 14,000 total if they're going to remove the screen. They're selling out arenas.
Not the screen.
There was
talking about the ramp. I thought.
The ramp. Sorry, the ramp. Yeah. Is that what I was saying?
Yeah.
So if they get rid of the walkout ramp and they get rid of the big, what is it called? Screen, you know, for the background, that'll open up more seats above, you know, and that could be another 16,000 or 14,000, whatever it is. So a total, I mean, they're selling out, which is kind of weird to me that, and I've heard that, you know, that there was some companies that were looking to invest that a long time ago had tried to buy, you know, Bellator. They didn't at the time, Viacom didn't want to sell. Now it seems like if they are, PFL is trying to join with them. They're trying to buy Bellator. I guess we'll see. Who knows?
I don't blame them.
There's a lot of things going around, man. There's a lot of things going around. We're just going to have to wait and see how it all pans out. But Dana's doing what Dana does. It's the same, like I said, rinse, wash, repeat. They were scared to fight the best guys. They wanted, you know, like they wanted something that we don't do here. And everyone's going to go back. Well, yeah,
not the way we do business.
They're like, oh, we let Conor do it against Mayweather. You have to remember that was like a one of a kind thing. And I'm not now all these like YouTube stars and all these other Mayweather still doing like these YouTube fights and fighting. It's kind of taken the luster away from it. People are turned off by it now. And so I understand what Dana's saying. He already did it with Conor.
No. Do you? Okay.
Who?
I'm just being honest. You know, I get to talk with all the cut men and all the guys that I've used to work with all the time. And Andy, who is from England, he's got his own crew that, you know, he puts out everywhere. They had a boxing thing because you have KSI with his, I can't think what it's called, his promotion, but whatever it is, you know, they just had their show. But there was actually one just before it, sold out. The Wembley Arena where Bellator goes, right? Sold it out, and it was all porn stars.
Nice.
Fighting.
I would have went to that too. John, you just changed the narrative though.
No, I didn't. It's the same bullshit. But for whatever reason.
Hell no. I want to watch these porn stars in lingerie fuck each other up. I'd rather watch that than watch this knucklehead fight.
It could be two dudes.
No, that's true. I didn't think about that.
Yeah.
I was only thinking of my side.
Yeah, hello. And it's like, but people keep putting money out and buying tickets for these boxing events. So you look and you say, be honest, Josh. If Francis Ngannou was going to fight one of three, Joshua, Fury, or Wilder, would you watch? Would you pay the money?
I would watch one of them. I don't think I'd watch the Wilder one, only because I think Deontay would.
That would be one that I'd probably want to watch the most.
I think the Joshua one I'd watch because I think he'd beat Joshua. I think he has a chance of beating Joshua.
Because Joshua's got a chance. A little suspect.
A little sus. Yeah. But then Tyson Fury, I would just watch because I love Tyson Fury. The way he moves, the way he talks shit, like his responses to the John Jones stuff.
He's not beating Tyson Fury.
He's not beating Tyson Fury, but I want to see Tyson Fury like do work. Like he's just fun to watch. The way he moves is slick and how big he is. But Wilder, I don't think people realize when he's knocking people out the way he's knocking them out with 10-ounce gloves. Like it's different. It's like someone can still crack and put you to sleep like that with a little 10-ounce glove, or the full 10-ounce glove, I should say. They're not even MMA gloves.
It's still small.
it's still pretty impressive though.
Yeah.
Pretty impressive.
Yep.
I'm looking forward to seeing what happens with the Francis stuff. I'm looking forward to seeing him step foot in that cage. I would be, if I was the PFL, I'd be a little concerned that I'm going to be losing some of what I paid for if he does go out and have an
there's a
embarrassing
possibility
performance.
you could actually lose value.
Mm-hmm. Yep. I understand where Dana's coming from it though, but Dana's going to just keep saying what he says, feed the narrative, and the media is going to follow along because they don't want to lose their credentials. That's common. Like you've got to, I think once people realize that I'm not saying anything that you can't look up yourself, that's not being biased and I'm not being a hater. Okay. I'm just legit saying that Dana does this every time someone leaves for another promotion. He does it every single time. It's just listen to it. And that's his job though. Let Dana be Dana. All right. What's next?
All right, let's now look at UFC 291, which had the whole card basically announced. Dana White announced it right after the PFL Francis announcement.
That's smart.
And what some were saying was to take away from the shine.
Absolutely.
So
look, this is for the BMF, right? The vacant now.
Yes.
How did it become vacant?
George retired.
I think George is retired.
Is it so
Might as
he
well.
retires, so it becomes that it's vacant? Because it was never on the
had it.
line.
That's what Dana
But it was never
literally
on the
said those
line.
words. Dana said, now that George is retired, the BMF belt is vacant. That's exactly what those are the words that Dana said.
Yeah, I don't care what the words that Dana said. Dana's going to say whatever he's going to say. How many fights did George Masvidal have after that Nate Diaz fight, and that belt still was his?
Yeah. I think
Dana
because-
doesn't do gimmick fights, remember, John?
Thank you, Dave.
Great.
Thank you for reminding me.
But if there's two people that we can say deserve a shot at the BMF belt,
Oh, those
I'm
two
looking
are
right at them.
fantastic.
Yeah, I'm looking
Absolutely.
right at them.
Yep.
Do you think the leg kicks will have the same effect this fight, or do you think Dustin's going to make the adjustments early?
I think he'll make adjustments. He had some problems with those. Look, Justin's got fast and hard leg kicks, and it's the way he sets it up. And Dustin knows that I can't sit there and eat those because that was really affecting me in the fight. You know, he's gonna do things differently than he did in the first fight. So the damage that he took early will not accrue in this next matchup.
Yeah.
Dustin, let's be honest. Every time you've watched Dustin fight somebody and then fight them again, has he changed? Every time.
Yeah.
Even the fights that he won.
Subtle differences.
Yeah, absolutely. That makes him smart.
Doesn't need to change who he is as a fighter. You just got to make a couple little adjustments. This fight, I think the biggest adjustment he's gonna have to make is off the leg kicks, because that's really what slowed him down in the first fight was the leg kicks. He was having a hard and difficult time dealing with that. But this is gonna be one of those fights that I'm extremely excited about, but I can't say, because normally, like you say, if they've already fought before, 80% of the time the guy who won the first one's gonna win the second.
Yeah,
you never know. These two guys could put someone's lights out at any moment.
Well, take a look at the way that Gaethje fought his last fight. That Gaethje is someone that he can win. He can win against anyone. He fought smart. He was intelligent in the way he did things. He even had a takedown. Fantastic. But Gaethje is still, when you compare the stand-ups, Gaethje's got about 3 different combinations that he continuously goes to. Mm-hmm. Continuously. Dustin has a more varied attack. He's able to change things up, especially in the middle of the fight, more than Justin can. Mm-hmm. And that's the biggest difference between the two that I see. Justin's got power. Dustin's got power. Mm-hmm. Justin has got fucking balls. He's got heart. Same with Dustin. They match up so well. So to say, yep, these are the two guys for that BMF title, I agree with you.
Yeah, I think with Justin's going to have to get started early, kind of ripping the body, try to get to the leg kicks early. The thing is, like you said, with Justin, his last fight, he fought very smart, utilized his wrestling. Like, he's dipped into his toolbox in his last fight, and he fought a very smart fight. I just feel when you put him in front of someone like Dustin, that style is going to go right out the door. He is not going to fight that way against this guy. Sorry, man. I
agree.
I don't think he has the control. Like he's a fucking fighter. I just talked about what Emily Ducote sometimes not, like digging out whether she's a fighter or not. There's no doubt that Justin Gaethje's a dog. He's a fighter through and through. It's in him to be that way. I think if he starts getting hit with some shots, he's just going to bite down on his mouthpiece and start throwing back. He doesn't have any other alternative. He's not that fighter that will back out and try to regroup. No. He's going to stand and bang with you toe to toe.
Yep.
He's a fighter through and through.
Yeah. No doubt about it. But that's a phenomenal fight. And that's the best part. It's going to be 5 rounds.
Yeah. What's the rest of this card, Dave?
All right, let's look at this next fight here. We got Blachowicz versus Pereira.
I mean, Blachowicz getting older, 40 years old.
Yes.
Might be 41 now, but I think he's 40. And Pereira's he's no spring chicken either. What is he, 36? Yep. 36, 37? Yeah, 36. And something like that. But the size, I wonder how much he's going to be able to put back on, because now he doesn't have to worry about cutting all the weight. I mean, he still has to cut weight, obviously. He's a huge 85-pounder. He's still going to be cutting weight to make 205.
Yep.
But now he won't have to hydrate. He'll have to hydrate fully back, but
I think it's going to be way better.
Yep. He's going to be basically fighting at his walk-around weight.
Yep.
So, sorry, guys. And, but Jan is, he can wrestle. He showed that against Izzy. I look for him to try to get the takedown early.
Oh, absolutely.
I don't think he's going to stand too much. He'll stand a little bit, but I don't think he's going to stand too much.
Josh, he cannot stay on the feet too long against Alex.
He's got Polish punching power. What are you talking about?
Yeah, that Polish punching power.
He's got Polish power.
Here's the difference is that Polish punching power is getting slower and slower. Yeah. And so he needs to get the fight to the ground. He has an advantage on the ground. He's actually got good, positioning on the ground. Nice ground and pound. You keep your opponent from being able to hurt you. Get it to the ground.
John,
if he doesn't, Alex Pereira wins the fight.
John, why is it that this guy comes in, he's only got 7 fights in Alex. He gets to the title, he knocks out Izzy, wins the title. Then he loses the title in a rematch. And all of a sudden, they're like, nope. Then he goes, no, he's got to go to 205. He's too big. He just beat your champion at 85. Yep. He just got knocked out too by that same champion.
Yep.
You finally got what you wanted, but there's a trilogy fight. Not even a trilogy. It's like a double trilogy, almost. And there'd be a lot more, I feel like a lot more money to be made on that next fight between him and Izzy. And even Izzy's backpedaling. Doesn't want to fight him. He's like, no, that's good. He can go up to 205.
Izzy and Berriman, Eugene Berriman are both, it's good to get somebody different. I don't blame them for saying it.
Wow.
Stay away from the dangerous guy.
Yeah. It's like Bill Haney. It's Devin Haney's dad said, nope, we're not interested in the Loma rematch. Smart.
Yeah.
Very smart. Just take the money and run, take the W and get out.
Well, the genius move by Dana here, Josh, is that Pereira wins the 205 belt. As it goes up, beats Pereira, becomes double champ. That's the setup.
That's true. Yeah. Yeah, it is. I mean, but this is not for the vacant title, is it?
No, this isn't the belt.
No, it's not. It's not vacant. Sorry, it's with Jamal Hill.
Jamal Hill he's the champion.
He's the champion. Yeah. But I mean, hey, Jamal Hill and Pereira would be a fun fight.
Yeah, it would. Jamal Hill's already talked all kinds of snap about it, so he says.
I love that John says snap. That's like an old school term for cussing.
Guess why?
Because it's old. Because you're old.
Because I'm old.
Yes. This should be a good fight. What's the next fight?
Next fight, we have Costa versus Aliskerov.
I don't know. Costa looked pretty good his last fight.
He looked really good.
I think that Aliskerov is going to be a tough matchup for him. But Costa, it depends. Like if he doesn't drink wine, I think he has a good chance of winning this fight. he's so explosive. He's so fast. He does slow down. He cuts a ton of weight. Like all of these things. But if he's taking it serious, keeps on his nutrition, keeps his weight down, gets ready for the fight, I think he's got a good chance.
Oh, this fight is, this is one where you look at and you go, Costa wants to keep it on the feet. Aliskerov wants to get it to the ground. But Aliskerov will stand with Costa. He'll stand with him for a while. So it's a good bout. I don't, it's weird because you had all these things about Costa was going to fight Whitaker, and then that kind of went away and stuff. I wonder why this bout came up.
Seems
It
like
doesn't
Costa
do
pissed somebody
anything.
off.
It doesn't do anything for Paulo Costa.
No,
Doesn't do
it seems
anything
like he pissed somebody off.
Yeah, maybe.
But I don't think Costa's ranked because he doesn't have a number next to him here. Is he? Oh yeah, he has 5 on there. But it's weird they
Says
didn't
number
put
5.
they didn't put a number on here, but they did for the other ones. So
Yeah,
I was reading that.
who's not ranked is Aliskerov.
Now, Costa is ranked, but he's saying that they didn't put a number next to his name.
Yeah,
Like they did for Blachowicz and the other guys. All right, next fight.
We got Tony Ferguson versus Bobby Green.
I love
I
this
think it's
fight.
a great fight.
Yep.
I really like this one. Tony needs to get himself in good shape because there's going to be a lot of movement. He's not going to be able to just take Bobby Green down. Bobby's got a unique style. Bobby's, I just look at it. Tony has slowed down. So, in my opinion, he needs to get this fight to the ground. And he needs to utilize, he's got a really good submission game. He's got a lot of attacks. That would be the smartest way for him to deal with Bobby Green.
Well, for me, I wonder where he's at mentally coming off. I mean, didn't he just get a DUI?
Yep.
Or, just where are you at mentally? If you're
Yep.
doing things like that, you're close to the fight. You're close to, July is still long enough time away.
Yeah.
But that's
You got 2
that's
months.
a lot on
You
your
got a
mind.
full training camp, so
No, I get it, but there's a lot on your mind. Like, he's obviously not driving. If you got a DUI, they've taken your license, $10,000 fine automatically in California. Automatically taking your license for a year and a $10,000 fine. So he won't be driving himself to and from practice.
no, we will not.
So
But you can get in really good shape jogging.
jogging to and from, hopefully it's close enough. It's going to be a good fight, man. I think Bobby poses some threats because Bobby can wrestle. Bobby's got the stand up to stuff the takedowns, and he's got the stand up to stand and bang. Tony has slowed down, but Tony's still a dog. He'll still go out there and do everything he can. But there was a thing going around, and they showed like each fight how he does his little double leg thing, like inside the cage as he's warming up. He does like a shot this way and turns and does a shot the other way.
Yeah.
And they showed it over the years. And his last fight, like he couldn't do it. Like he couldn't even get down like through his knees. Like he couldn't shoot all the way down through his knees. And I was like, do you look at this and you go, hey, he's lost what, 5 in a row now? 5 or 6 in a row? Can you look up
6.
Tony Ferguson? I think he's
wanna
lost
say
5 or
6.
6. It might be 6.
I think it's 6.
What does the UFC do with him?
I don't know.
5.
5.
If he loses this one, it'll be 6. I mean, what do you do with him after that?
I mean, you take a look at who he's fought.
I know. I'm not.
Yeah.
He's fought everyone.
Yeah.
And he's fought the best guys. Like Justin's fought for the title a couple times. Charles Oliveira was the champ. Benil Dariush should probably fight for the title next.
be
Chandler's
fighting
fought
for
for
it.
the title a couple times. Nate Diaz fought for the title. He's got, fought for the BMF title. Like he's lost to really good guys. Bobby is definitely a style matchups for a fun fight for us to watch. And I think they'll probably be yapping a little bit back and forth. I'm sure they got a mutual respect for each other. And but it'll be fun. I think for me, I like to watch the old guys fight. I fought both these guys.
I
I got
know.
lost to both these guys. Sucks. I got lost to both these guys. Well, it sucks. But should be a fun fight. I think it's gonna be fun. Next, who else is on that card? Is that it? Nope. Ooh.
Oh, that's actually a really good fight. I like this one. Michael Chiesa against Kevin Holland. That's an interesting matchup as far as it really, this plays out on the feet.
Mm.
Chiesa will try to get it down. We'll see what he can do.
You don't think he will?
There.
I think he'll get it there.
I think he's definitely a better wrestler than Holland. Definitely his wrestling is better and stuff. So yeah, I think he can get him down. It's really the question of, what can he do once he's down there? But I think it's a great matchup.
I think it's a fantastic matchup. I mean, we're going to see if Kevin Holland's been working on his wrestling a little bit. And we know he's got decent grappling, but I don't think his grappling's on Chiesa's level. Chiesa's got a little bit better of a game. But Holland, for welterweight, is tall. He's obviously long, tall. Chiesa is not a small welterweight either. I remember when he used to fight at 45 or 55. I mean, I was like, how in the hell do you make 55?
I know.
He's probably 6 foot, 6'1", maybe.
Oh,
Chiesa?
Yeah, 6'1", 6'2".
He's probably 6 foot. Yeah, really. He's a big guy. And so when I look at this fight, like things that Holland can normally get away with because of his length and his reach and his body style, it's going to be a little bit harder for him. He's 6'1". It's going to be a little bit harder for him to get away with it because Chiesa's a pretty big body frame also. So it should be fun. I think it should be a good fight. Chiesa on top would be dangerous, and on the feet, Kevin Holland's going to use the speed, I think a little bit of the reach advantage, and pepper him with a jab. Yeah, try to fight him fast.
Yep.
Good fight. What else you got?
All right, we got Wonderboy Thompson versus the other Pereira.
That's a great matchup. I love that matchup. Yeah, I think it's great.
Why? What do you like about it?
We all know what Stephen Thompson does and how he's got his style that he's in and out. Well, Michel Pereira has been exactly the same type of thing. Super explosive, in and out, does all kinds of crazy things. Now he has tempered down a lot of that movement and bullshit that he was doing that was burning. No, he's the backflips is bullshit.
No, I just heard Dave snort into the microphone.
Oh,
Dave snort, and he's all.
But I look at that, and that's really a neat fight when you look at it. 170 pounds, Michel Pereira is huge, and so it's going to be a.
But Kevin Holland was huge. Kevin Holland was huge, and Stephen Thompson made me look like an idiot when I said that Kevin Holland was going to be able to use his speed and his size and all those things, and Stephen Thompson went out there and made me look stupid. And he takes care of himself so well. He's still got the speed, still has the angles. Pereira doesn't fight smart. We know that. And
he has fought smarter lately.
Yeah, he has fought smarter.
He really has.
Do you think it's going to be enough, though?
No. I think Thompson has to win.
He does. It's the way he hides his kicks behind his striking, his boxing. Yep. Super impressive. Super impressive. What else you got for us, Dave?
Last one on this card, Derek Lewis. I don't know the opponent, but it's Rogerio de Lima.
You don't know de Lima? What are you talking about?
He's got power.
Yeah, a lot of power.
Someone's getting put to sleep.
Well, this is one of those ones you would look at, and this is de Lima likes to throw his hands, even though he does have some ground. As far as he's good in the top position, which if you're looking at heavyweights, that's where most of them are going to be good. On their back, not very good. Well, Derek Lewis, same thing. So this is a real question of who hurts who. One of them's going down. The other one's going to be in the top position. That's not good for the guy that's on the bottom. So,
does de Lima shoot?
God, no.
No?
I don't think so. I don't think so.
Huh. I mean, on the feet, man. Hey, Derek, look up Derek Lewis's. He's lost, I think, 4 or 5 in a row also, right?
Yeah.
I think so. He's on a downward skid right now.
3 or 4.
He went a 1-1 in there. No, he's got 3.
Yep.
Yeah, so he lost to Sorogon, then he beat Chris Dawkins. Then he lost to Ty, he lost to Sergey, and then he lost to Spivak. Sergey. I like watching my balls are hot. I love watching him fight, but he's got to get a win. And de Lima, though, I think he's got a little bit of wrestling. I don't know if it's enough to really waste the energy trying to get Derek Lewis down. Now, maybe if you catch a kick and it's easy to get the takedown, then you go to the top and make Derek Lewis work out from there. But on the feet,
this to me is the kind of matchup that Derek Lewis needs.
Yeah,
someone that will actually try to throw down with him. not great at the takedown game. This is a good one.
No, I agree. What else you got for us, Dave?
All right, let's move on to this last one here. So let me pull this up. So you guys heard that Aljo versus O'Malley was supposed to happen August 19th. So what's funny is UFC posted about this saying looks like we got a fight August 19th. They pulled that post down because I was looking for it when I was getting the show ready. And it's because Aljo's saying that he wanted to move it to September. And then at the presser for this past UFC Vegas 73, Dana said the fight's happening August 19th, whether Aljo's there or not. And he
whether Aljo's going to be there or not. Huh?
And because he said that Henry had called him and said, I'm there if you need somebody. And
absolutely.
So then Aljo comes out and
Henry
says,
Cejudo just jumping in. You got to love him, man.
I love it.
Aljo comes out and said, I told him yes, verbally agreed, but of course my body has to agree. Going to try to make this happen. This would be a sick, insane turnaround. Sean says, I'm showing up August 19th, whether Aljo shows up or they put someone else in there. Daddy's there, Daddy's main event, headlining for the belt regardless. So Sean alluding to what Dana later kind of confirmed, saying that the fight's on August 19th. Then Aljo comes out today and says, or comes out in the last couple of days and says, let's do it in July instead. And Sean said, he said, if you think you're big enough, Sean. And Sean comes out and says, I'm not big enough. See you in August.
I mean, it's just a little bit of banter back and forth. I mean, this kind of makes for a fun fight. Because Sean O'Malley's good on the ground. Mm-hmm. He's not as good as Aljo on the ground, but he's good on the ground. The reach and the speed that he has on the feet, can he utilize that to keep this thing on the feet? We've seen that Aljo's got wrestling. He took down Henry Cejudo. I know I know that Henry's a little bit smaller, but Henry's a different level of wrestling than anyone's ever faced. And Sean O'Malley doesn't have that wrestling. So does he end up on bottom? Does he end up giving up his back? Does he end up getting finished? I mean, who knows? Can he keep this thing on the feet long enough to keep Aljo guessing? The speed of the push kick up the middle, the thigh kick to the knee, the oblique or whatever it is, and then also the long jab, snapping the jab, making Aljo shoot from far away. That's what he's gonna have to do. He's gonna have to try to keep him on the tip of the jab, and keep his distance. That's what he's gonna do on his bike almost the whole time.
I know that Dana came out, saying that something that Aljo's his own worst enemy or something like that. But I tell you what, the dude has really performed since that. The way he won the belt, coming back, beating Jan, beating TJ. Like TJ threw out a shoulder. Shit happens. Aljo did his job. The fight against Cejudo, he fought a good fight, smart fight. This is not an easy fight for Sean O'Malley. This is a fight.
No,
I think going into this, no matter who someone likes, Aljamain Sterling is going to be the favorite in this fight, and by quite a bit.
Yeah, you know what they've said. Like I saw other fighters going, I can't believe Sean O'Malley's getting a fight, a title fight off of a fight that everyone thought he lost. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, yeah, but he didn't lose.
He didn't. No,
that's the thing.
He got the W. W's
didn't lose.
In the box.
Exactly. So I mean, I get what the UFC is doing. They're trying to get him to the top as fast as possible, to get this title shot before he ends up taking a loss to somebody else, and it's not as profitable. Sean's fun though.
Yeah, no doubt.
Sean's
I love watching him fight, but stylistically, they match up as far as Aljo is not a small bantamweight. He's a big bantamweight.
Yeah. And
physically much stronger than O'Malley.
Yeah.
They're both tall, but Aljamain is a strong person at 135. Now, Sean's got very technical striking. Really, it's nice. He throws the kicks beautifully. He's got a good ground game, but his ground game is no better than Aljamain's. In fact, I'm not sure it's as good. And Aljamain in the stand-up, look, he's fought very good stand-up fighters, and he's done well. He's always looking to get the fight to the ground because that's where his strength lies. That makes him a smart fighter. I just look at this, and if I'm looking at ways for people to win, it appears to me that Aljamain has more ways to win than Sean.
Yeah. No, I agree. But I mean, for me, I think this Sean, to me, Sean's not quite ready for the title shot, but I get what the UFC's doing because he's very marketable right now. I mean, he's got the look, he's got the fighting style. People love him, and I love watching him fight. So I'm not against it. I understand what they're doing.
Not at all.
They're trying to capitalize and make as much money as they possibly can off of this fight. He's good all the way around. Just Aljo's a little bit better than him on the ground. A lot better, a lot stronger than him, I think. Better wrestler.
Dave, do me a favor. Pull up both of their records. Here's the big difference.
But I think that he's gonna surprise a lot of us with his abilities on the ground, and he's gonna surprise us definitely. I think more on the feet, sticking and moving. And we saw him go through one of the Peter Yan fight. I thought he lost 2 that fight, but I thought he would gas out, getting exhausted from all the movement. He kept coming. He kept throwing, and he took some big shots and still got up and still kept moving.
He's got a chin, no doubt about it. Go to his record real quick. Who he's fought as far as Sean O'Malley here.
You got it
here, and this is what I'm trying to say is Terrion Ware, okay, down at the bottom, and there's been others, but Terrion Ware's good slick fighter, comes from California, and good stand up, but no real ground game. He beat Alfred Kashakian before that. Andre I can't even say his name. Sokamath. That fight, Andre fought stupid as hell. He beat up, Sean O'Malley's leg, and then for whatever reason decides to become a wrestler. But you take all of them, okay, until you get to Pedro Munoz, Peter Yan, except for the loss of Marlon Vera. Where's the great fighter? Eddie Wineland was way past his prime. Okay?
Yeah,
when he beat him. Okay? Quinones, okay. You can take a look at Almeida, shot. Chris Montino was brought in to fight him. He fought a hell of a tough fight, but
yeah, he did.
Paiva, good fighter, but not until the last 2 and there's no contest with Munoz is a hell of a fighter. Peter Yan, hell of a fighter. That's your 2. Now if you pull up Aljo. Okay, so let's take a look. And let's just go the last. We'll go from the Marlon Moraes where he lost with the knee, that knockout. That was his last loss. Okay. At the time, Marlon Moraes was the man. Came out of World Series of Fighting as a champion. Great fighter. Brett Johns, he beats. Brett Johns is a very good grappler, tough dude. Beats Cody Stamen, good wrestler. Jimmy Rivera. Jimmy Rivera was really high. Okay, he beats Pedro Munoz. He beats Corey Sandhagen. He beats Peter Yan. He beats TJ Dillashaw. Is there a difference in the competition here, Josh? Huge difference.
You think? I don't think so at all. John, sarcasm. Sense my sarcasm.
Yeah. I mean,
no, I get exactly what you're saying.
That's the biggest difference. Aljo's been in there against the very best, and for a while.
No, I agree. I think, like you said, with Jimmy Rivera was riding high for a while. Pedro Munoz, Corey Sandhagen, Peter Yan again, TJ Dillashaw, Henry Cejudo. I mean, he's built himself quite the resume. Aljo has.
He has.
And striking while the iron's hot is going to be key for Sugar Sean. He's going to have to get this win because it's also not going to get easier for him if he does win. And does Aljo go up then after that? That's my question. Like, he's going to lose the title and then go up, or is he going to try to come back and get it back? Like, he keeps saying he's going to go to 45, but
yeah, he said it.
I don't know.
Does he?
Yeah, we'll see. I mean, I like watching Aljo fight. I know we've had some words back and forth on social media, but it is what it is, man. I ain't mad at you, man. I ain't mad at you. I still like you. All right, even though I know you said you're mad at me. Okay, next. What else you got for us, Dave?
We'll wrap up there. I know John has watched the Conor McGregor documentary. John, I don't know if you want to make any comments on that before we do wrap up here.
Yeah, I haven't watched the entire thing. I've gotten through a couple episodes of it. They've really done a nice job with it, showing exactly some of the things that, one of the things that was interesting to me was, that they showed the whole kind of build up with Khabib, and, let's be honest, sometimes I can't talk about certain things. So I have talked with some of his people at times, and they knew that things were not good, and that, there was things going on outside of the training that should never have been going on. But the thing that really I thought was actually interesting is that they show the whole incident with, Artem Lobov and what happened with Khabib, and then the bus incident. And, it shows that Conor gets community service. And then it actually shows him being, coming to the U.S. in New York to do community, and it shows him cleaning the church, but it was a good thing for him. And it's, he's sitting there reading things, and you can see that, he's an intelligent guy, and he gets certain things. And you look and you say, sometimes the things that you think are the worst things that can happen in your life end up being possibly some of the best things that could ever happen to you. So it was one of the things I really liked, as far as, the thing I liked when he was having to do the community service.
I just think during the whole Khabib thing, like, he just went overboard.
Oh, absolutely. He went over the line.
Took it to another level. That's just
went over the line.
Go there.
No doubt about it.
Shouldn't go there.
Nope.
And then, and then it kind of carried over into the Dustin situations. Oh, your wife was in my DMs. Like, you just leave that shit out, man. Like,
there's no fucking place for it.
I don't know. I have a hard time with things like that. Like, it's a sport, and that's all it is. We are entertainment for the rest of the world. That's it. And we chose this career, but it's like, you don't have to be a douche about it. I enjoy, like, you don't have to be a douchebag. And I said, when I was talking about Aljo was all mad at me because of the things that I said, but I still have respect for him as a fighter. I think he's a fantastic fighter.
Fantastic.
And I would still, like, if I saw him, I'd still be nice to him.
Josh, he doesn't like me any more than you.
Yeah, I know. I get it.
It's okay. It doesn't matter. It's definitely not going to hurt my feelings. And I'm always going to be honest. And I was honest what I said in the, the first time. And I've been honest about what I've said about him in the past. Look, he's a great fighter, and he's proved it. And just like we were just talking about, look at who he's proved it against. The guy is elite.
No, I agree. I absolutely agree with you. All right, well, hey, that's going to wrap up our show for this midweek show, and we want to thank you guys for continuing to support us. You know how else you can support us, though? Go to weighingInMerch.com and pick up some of our swag there. We've got some short sleeves, we've got some long sleeves, we've got some hoodies, we've got some hats, we've got all different types of designs, so check it all out at weighingInMerch.com. Go to onlyfans.com/weighingin, subscribe to us over there, submit your fan questions. We got some more content dropping over there. It is free, you guys, and we like to talk about equal pay for men and women. Well, we're trying to get us men paid over on OnlyFans equally as Paige Van Zant and other females. I want to get paid as much as females on OnlyFans. Yes, that's what I want to get paid. I want to make that money. I want to be in that 1 percentile. That's what I want to be in. All right, hey, make sure you guys head on over there and subscribe to us. It ain't happening. I know I'm good looking, but just not like that. Not like that. All right, John, take us away, buddy.
Hey, for everyone, Josh and I will be going to Fort Bragg here. We will be putting some stuff out on OnlyFans and even Instagram and all that stuff. So check out that stuff, and we will see you.